Peace, blessings, and greetings. This is Misty Moon at Misty Moon Wellness for Women, and today is our very first weekly womb wisdom. And today's topic is going to be on sacred word. Words. What are we saying? What are we saying to ourselves? What are we saying out loud in general? What are we saying to people? What are we saying to people behind their backs? Are we speaking our truth? Are we gossiping? Are we using excessive cursing instead of using high vibrational adjectives when describing a situation or an emotion? So, it is a universal truth that in the beginning, it was all created with the word. When we think about the mantra Om, it represents the beginning, the middle, the end. It represents all of life, all of creation, all through that one tonation of Om. And when we think about the concept of spells, spells are created through putting various words together in specific order. And through those words, you can manifest, you can create alchemy, you can transform, all through the words. So with that said, a lot of us tend to say statements such as, I don't have enough money. I would never lose weight. I would never attract the man of my life or the woman of my life. I would never be able to live my career. I would never have financial freedom. And when we say those things, we are empowering those thoughts right before our eyes. When you say that I never have any money, you never have any money because you continue to say it. And so I want to encourage you to begin being very, very mindful about the things that you say. So one tool that you could learn, that you can use, and this is from a woman named Brooke Castillo, who is a life coach, brilliant life coach, and she has created, through Universal Truths, a concept called the model, okay? So with the model, you have a circumstance, then you have the thought about the circumstance, then the thought initiates an emotion, the emotion initiates an action, and the action gives you a result. So just to give you an example, back in the day, I was convinced that because I was African American, because I came from a family that was working class, because of those two things specifically, I was convinced that I was not smart. I was convinced that I was stupid. I was convinced I didn't have a place. I was convinced that I was inadequate. And so based on those beliefs and those thoughts I told myself, I used to have this challenge where I would go to a social gathering. So the circumstance in my case is I would be in a group of people talking. And if there was someone in the group that was talking and they would not make eye contact with me, but they made contact with everyone else, I immediately associated that because they didn't think that I was smart enough. And that's why they didn't look at me in the eye. And so that was my thought. And then my emotion would be to feel inadequate, to feel less than, to feel inferior. And then my action based on that emotion would be I would either leave the party completely, I would have animosity towards that person. I would, oftentimes I would leave. I would just leave the situation. I would cower down. I would just not be pleasant to be around because I was so caught up in my head. And then the result would be that I didn't have a healthy social life, or I just would constantly have social anxiety whenever I would go out. And it took me years and years of digging in deep and reconditioning myself through affirmations, through just doing a lot of inner work, that I finally came to this place of saying, no, I have a place here. I deserve to be here. I am intelligent. I have my own way of thinking. I'm a little quirky and a little, different than most people, but I am definitely not stupid. And to be honest with you, a lot of my confidence came from doing my work with Queen Afua, especially as an African American woman. I finally came into my Blackness last year in 2017, working with Queen Afua, because I finally had tools that connected me to my ancestors And so because I had a connection to my ancestors, I was able to feel more confident. And I had this connection, I had this support behind me and reminding me of who I came from. Okay, so all this all ties into sacred word and being mindful of the things that you say. Okay, so the model is a tool that I encourage you to look more into so that you can become more conscientious about how your words affect your outcome. Okay, and then another thing about sacred word is speaking your truth. Oftentimes when we keep our truth, when we have a trigger, we don't address it with that person because we're afraid of confrontation or we just feel inferior, oftentimes that energy manifests into the physical. It can turn into throat cancer. It can turn into a hyper or hypothyroid. It can turn into laryngitis. It can turn into a stiff neck or even swollen limbs, like your lymph that are located here, your lymph nodes, oftentimes can be swelled up due to the fact that you did not speak your truth. So this is another powerful medicine with sacred word and working with this energy. Okay, so within the tradition of Queen Afua, we have what's called gateways. So gateway 0 is the sacred womb, where we focus primarily on the uterus. And then the first gateway is sacred word, which is what we're speaking of now. And each gateway has a particular Kemetic principle associated with it. So with sacred word, we work with the energy of Tahuti. And Tahuti was a Kemetic principle of intelligence. He was a scholar, the writer, the holder of all information. So this is the energy that we work with in order to help us move through clearing out the clutter being the gossiping, the excessive cursing, speaking our truth through this medicine. So with that said, I would like to read to you, this is from Queen Afua's Sacred Woman prayer cards on Tahuti. And this is a prayer that you can recite. If you like, you can use this video. You can just fast forward it and just listen to the words I'm about to speak to you and just go into meditation and really embody these words to help shift the energy around the words that you say. Okay? All right. Sacred Spirit, assist me in speaking words of power. May my words be anointed. May my words not damage a soul. Sacred Spirit, help me to speak words that heal, empower, build and that transform. Help me to guard my words so that no destruction results from my speech. Rather, may my words impart light to souls who are seeking your face. If my words show me to be out of divine right order, may my mind and mouth be cleansed. Help me not to speak words that break down the divine in me or in my sisters or my brothers, my mate, my child, my elders, or my ancestors. Sacred Spirit, place words upon my lips that make my voice disperse lotus blossoms. May my words be sacred medicine that encourages all the souls I meet to reach for greater heights, empowering each other. That's what we want to do, especially as women. May my words speak with your breath and sing your sweet song of life. Because of the words and the evolved time and the evolved tones that I utter, may goodness follow me all the days of my life. Ashe. And this reminds me of something else that's been coming up for me personally, as far as a Black woman and as being in an intimate circle with other women of color. Oftentimes we're so conditioned to be paranoid of each other, to compete with each other, to gossip and to judge each other. And so I've been working on, I've had a situation where there's another woman in my circle who's beautiful, very empowering, very, very charismatic, and her and I are both doing the same work. And I caught myself because I felt myself feeling not competitive, but just there was just this uneasiness that I've been feeling. I've been wanting to reach out to her, and I am going to reach out to her just to make sure that everything is clear. And I feel that since she's a healer and I'm a healer, by me taking that step just to make sure things are crystal clear and that our intimate sacred circle has perfect love and perfect trust, that through our actions we can create a ripple effect to other sisters out in the world to start trusting each other, start speaking up. If there's a trigger that happens, clear it right away. Don't let it build up months and months and then years later. I used to do that all the time. That it builds up, and when you finally explode, the person that's receiving this energy is like, whoa, where did this come from? And it makes it so much difficult to heal it. But if you can do it right away, the moment that you feel some uneasiness, that is just such beautiful medicine, especially as women. And I'm not excluding any other race. It's not about that. I'm just relating to my experience. But this applies to all sisters, okay? But as women, we really need to start uniting and speaking up and trusting each other and having mature, high vibrational conversations with each other as opposed to bickering and just going back and forth. It doesn't do anything for anybody. Okay, so I hope that these words has touched you, inspire you in some way. If you want to reach out to me, check out my website at mistymoonwellness.com. That's MYSTYMOON wellness.com to know more about my work. And with that, I just send out the highest vibrations and love and light to you all. And let's be mindful of our words. Let's lift each other up. Let's lift ourselves up. Let's tell ourselves that we love us. When we look in the mirror, if there's a pimple in our face, or we've gained weight, or we're getting gray hair, or whatever, love that. Embrace it. Find creative ways to find the beauty and the imperfectness of ourselves. Because it's through those words that we lift up our vibrations. It's through those words that we heal. It's through those words that we can be the beings, the souls that the Creator created us to be. All right, I hope that makes sense. I hope that inspires. I hope that touches. Love and light to you all. And until next week, have an empowering, productive week. Okay, Ashe.